Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica with Memory Box Candle Co. and I make videos all about making and selling candles. And today's video is going to be a little bit of a story time kind of video. I just wanted to share an experience and a sales tactic, I guess, that I had tried out at a pop-up event, a local vendor event, whatever you want to call it. And I thought it would be interesting to share this experience with all of you. So a few weeks back, Chris and I were preparing for our very first market of the year, which is always really exciting and kind of nerve-wracking and just kind of getting back into it for this year. We hadn't done any at the beginning of the year, and the previous one that we had done was right before Christmas. So we waited until late April to actually get back into the local markets. And I am always interested and curious about trying new things and trying out different ways of trying to get people to come to our booth, because to be honest, Chris is very good at doing that, and I am not as good at getting people to come to our booth. I'm actually much better at upselling, which is what I primarily did in my previous sales job, was not cold sales, but more of upselling customers that were already interested in the product. So I had this idea for probably the past couple of months on what it would be like to have a fun spin to win kind of wheel at our booth. So I went onto Amazon and I tried to see if something like this actually existed, and of course it did, because everything exists on Amazon. But I went on there and I tried to find something that would be able to sit at our table, and something to where I would be able to put different stickers on there and add different kinds of discounts for the winner of whatever they landed on when they spun the wheel. And one of the first reviews on the product that I ended up getting was actually somebody at a market saying that they had a great experience with the wheel. They had a line of customers wanting to come up and spin the wheel. And I just thought that that was something that, was really interesting, and it kind of got me excited. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of got me excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, what if there could be a line of people lined up at our booth wanting to come and spin the wheel and are interested in our products? And it just kind of got me imagining. I'm such an imagination, kind of ideas person. So I just started dreaming about maybe the potential of something really good happening with this spin to win kind of wheel. And I decided to order it. And once it came in, I was really just kind of focused on just getting some discounts put on there. And I actually have the wheel right here. So this is what it looked like. And what I did was I took, this is actually the size of the stickers that I use for my 6-ounce tin candles. And I just decided to put different kinds of deals on there. And I went through the percentage of basically what I did was the red shows up more. So the red, I just basically made a free sample, and then all the other ones are 2 different colors. Some of them I only put one of what it was. So I think I had a free candle on here at one point. I had a free wax melt here at one point. And then the rest are just 15% off, 20% off. I also did $5 off any large candle. And I did do a buy one, get one free. So I will talk about that a little bit later, but I ended up changing that to buy one, get one 50% off. So this was just basically a trial run for us. We had no idea how it was going to go. Chris, I wouldn't say that he was not on board with it, but he just thought that we should have done it a little bit differently. So he thought that we should have it to where if you purchase something, then you can spin the wheel. But that didn't make sense to me in the way that I wanted to go about it, because what I didn't want was to use the wheel as a reason to get people to come to the booth, which was my initial thinking. I was hoping that the wheel would basically attract people's attention and want to come spin it, because when you see a wheel, you want to spin it. So I thought that maybe that would be a way to actually get customers to our booth. That was my thinking all along, was to just kind of get people to come to the booth. So I didn't want to use the wheel as a way to get people to come over to our booth, and then also once they got there say, but you have to buy something before you can spin it. And once I explained that to Chris, he goes, oh yeah, no, I wouldn't want to do that either. So my thinking was to have the wheel to get people to come over to the booth. He was more thinking that that could be something extra, so that when people purchase something, then they will be able to spin the wheel. Looking back back now, I see that that probably would be a better idea, but even then, I'm not too sure how I would go about doing it. I have a couple different ideas in mind, but I definitely know that I would want to do it differently if we ever did it again, just because our experience there of having it, I felt like it was more of a distraction than anything. It kind of brought the focus away from spending more money, and it brought the focus to getting a discount and spending less money. And of course, I wasn't sure if it was just because it was a daytime event and it was kind of a slower market in general with less foot traffic. So I wasn't sure with adding something like this on if it was the wheel's fault or if it was the market's fault. So it was kind of something that we walked away from it like, okay, that was something that we did, and do we really want to do it again? Are we going to try again? I was kind of thinking like, I want to try one more time and see at a nighttime event, because we walked away from that market making a little less than $400, which was, I believe, the least we've made so far. And I had given away some product because, they landed on something. And I also noticed that kids were very disappointed. So I also didn't want to disappoint kids because they're getting to spin this wheel and they get nothing for it. So between that market and the very next market we did, which was, I believe, 5 or 6 days away from the next night market that we did, I actually went onto Amazon and I ordered some like little stickers. And I just wanted to be able to give the kids something. I know that's silly to say, but when you're kind of having this big fun rainbow wheel, and kids are automatically going to be drawn to it. So a lot of kids from across the way, they're like, I want to go spin the wheel. And so they would bring the parents over and they would want to spin the wheel, but then they would get nothing for it. And so I just thought that having a little bag of stickers, at least the kids would be able to have something for spinning the wheel, and it wouldn't just be, disappointing, because I could see the disappointing look on their faces and I don't want to do that. So fast forward to the next night market that we did, the next Friday after that Sunday market that we did. And we were getting everything set up. It was the very beginning of the night. The sun was still out. I believe it was early evening time, maybe around 5:30-ish. And there were a lot of teenagers just out for the night, just hanging out. And there was, I think, a group of maybe 8 or 9 of them that came to our booth. This was very early on in the night, and they were wanting to spin the wheel. And, they're kids, so I gave them a sticker for spinning the wheel. I think one of them won a free wax melt, and then they ended up all leaving. And then I would say maybe a couple minutes later, there was a couple more of them that came over because the sister of one of the girls, the teenage girls that spun and got a sticker, wanted to spin the wheel and get a sticker too. And it just kind of just became such a distraction. I'm not a sticker factory. I'm not somebody trying to, do this. That was just something that I wanted to include just so that the kids would be able to have something. But it was more or less just a way initially that I was thinking to be able to get adults to come over and want to, check out the products, and then they get to spin the wheel. But what it turned into was people would come over, they'd be interested in a product, and then they would get to spin a wheel to try to get a discount, so they'd end up spending less money than what they would. So I think it was maybe 20 minutes into that, after that whole thing with all the stickers, and there were more kids that were wanting stickers. And I just looked at Chris, I'm like, I want to take the wheel down. I don't want it anymore. Like, this is just a distraction. This is such a distraction. So we took the wheel down, and that night ended up being our highest grossing night. I think we made like $900 or something like that night, and we would have not made that with that wheel. And looking back at the whole situation, and I can't be hard on myself, and Chris was not, upset or anything like that. He's like, yeah, let's just try it out, And I can't be hard on myself because it's trying something new. I don't know if it's going to work unless I try. And I think, again, that I would just go about it in a very different way, and maybe just do it for a special occasion like Black Friday time or something like that, and get people to only bring out the wheel when somebody purchases something, and then they can spin the wheel to try to win something. I don't know, just maybe using that as kind of like a sales tactic. Like if people are on the fence, like, hey, if you purchase that, you can try to spin the wheel and get a free candle. I don't know. These are just kind of things in my head. And again, you don't know if you don't try. But I'm not gonna lie, it stung a little bit with the very first customer of the evening when we still had the wheel. I forgot to mention this. But when we still had the wheel that evening, there was a guy that came over and he was interested in purchasing a large candle. He purchased it, but we said, hey, you want to try to spin the wheel to get a discount? And he ended up getting a free candle. And that was the sticker that I had really wanted to remove and exchange. And I meant to do it when we were setting up and I forgot. So he ended up getting 2 candles for $25. Actually, I think it was $24 because he only had $24 in cash on him. So, you know, we live and we learn, right? So I learned a lot, and Chris was like, oh, that stung, didn't it, when you just gave away that free candle? Not gonna lie, it definitely did. But I thought that this would be a really interesting story and experience to share with you all because we're learning what works, we're learning what doesn't, and man, have we learned what really helps to increase sales at markets. We have learned so much together doing these events, and I do want to make another video on how I have increased sales at pop-up events and how we have kind of figured out what really helps to increase sales. And I really want to make a video on that because I think it's very helpful and something that we're all learning when we do local events. So with that, I think I'm going to end today's video right here. If you enjoyed this little story time video, make sure to leave it a thumbs up as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, don't forget to follow me over on Instagram at Erica Marie Morris, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.